So last week I got a job interview at McDonald's, but it didn't end up going too well. I didn't get a call. I guess it just wasn't what they're looking for or something.
Before the boys in Nelk would clock in hundreds of millions of views with viral classics including Coke Prank on Cops, pretending to be a McDonald's employee, spoiling Avengers Endgame, rejecting Instagram models at Coachella and more.
6.9K. You gotta have at least 10K to get in.
Before the boys in Nelk would add SteveWillDoIt to the mix and make the move to Hollywood, living with Faze Banks and Bradley Martyn.
Boys, what are you watching? I got a surprise. Turn this off.
Before the boys would part ways with 905 Shooter and have fallen comrades, including Lucas and twins Niko and Marco.
I have nothing bad to say about them at all. They're actually great guys. But basically what happened is just like, when we got back, it was kind of more of like a falling out. So
before Nelk would surpass 4 million subscribers on YouTube, 2.5 billion on Instagram, 250,000 on Twitter, and despite YouTube's best efforts to shut them down, well, they would continue to be a dominant force on the platform.
There we go.
Cheers to 1 million, bud.
1 million.
Alright, some of you guys might be experiencing a little bit of deja vu, but the boys of Nelk, well, they've come a long way since we last took a shot at documenting their come up way back in 2017. Things looked a whole lot different then, and I ain't talking about the members that have left. They've also added SteveWillDoIt, and I was able to dig up some old footage on that guy.
This is Steven D about to do the cinnamon challenge. It may fail, we're not sure yet.
Now Kyle and Jesse are a pair of local legends here in Toronto, and I've been fortunate enough to attend a few of the events that they've thrown in the Six. They actually did a food drive in December, so I was there, I chipped in. Historically, it's been hard for Canadian entertainers to find fame and fortune here in the Great White North. Most acts, they need to head south of the border to do that. And when Nelk was running out of places to film in Canada, well, they were basically left without any other options.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to we literally can't film in Ontario. Maybe I think Canada is just, we're too popular. Canadian fans just rep us so hard. Everyone knows us in Ontario now, so it's fucking ridiculous.
Through relentless years of grinding from a relatively unknown channel to then getting rinsed by the CPM and nearly having their entire channel shut down by YouTube, well, the boys, they've certainly overcome a lot. Now, it was all worth it though, as they've become the most popular prank and college culture channel on the internet, and they've built a brand known the world over. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Michael McCredden, documenting the life and career of Nelk and SteveWillDoIt prior to fame. Here for you, of course, before they are famous. This is an updated video. Now, we recently dropped a Where Are They Now on 905 Shooter. It was an interview, and that video picked up some serious views. In fact, I actually saw that the boys were watching the video online. Small world, this internet. Now, if you watch the original video, some of this may sound like a repeat, but I have dug up a whole bunch of new information, plus they've added members, they've lost members, so there's a lot to update you on. I'm also happy this isn't a Before They Were Gone video, because if anyone was gonna catch the coronavirus, I think it would have been the boys in Nelk. All right, let's get into this video. Hey, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Boom! First, let's kick things off with Kyle Forgeard, who was born on July 12, 1994 in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and he grew up in an area known as Meadowvale. Now, he still couldn't dig up a ton of info from his early years or about his family, but I did find a video from 2014 which features both his mom and his dad, and this was titled Fake House Prank on Mom and Dad.
Just look at the camera, you just got pranked so hard.
Now, in a photo with his dad, the caption reads, "We've come so far and we're nowhere near done. Our dads still think we're morons though." Now, Kyle's been making videos since he was a little kid. He was a director, an editor, and a filmmaker, all doing it just for fun. He was also a huge fan of other people blowing up on YouTube, including Vitaly and Jimmy Tatro. Tatro? I don't know. Those were some of his early favorites. Now, the oldest video I could find from Kyle was in 2011, and it was a short-lived series titled What the Moments. Now, this has since been deleted off of YouTube, so if you want to see that magic, you'll have to watch our original Before They Were Famous video. Now, Kyle, he attended Lady of Mount Carmel Secondary School, where he first met Jason, aka 905 Shooter. He got started on the Nelk Films YouTube channel as far back as 2010, working with his buddy Lucas and the twins Niko and Marco. Now, some early gems, they included Tim Horton's roll up the rim prank, pretending to be a McDonald's employee prank, and then he hit gold with his serenading old people in public video, which clocked in 300,000 views.
I'll be
better when I'm older. I'll be.
Now, Kyle decided to take his show on the road, hitting up universities surrounding Toronto. He traveled to Waterloo, Hamilton, Guelph, and he even showed up at a city council meeting trying to serenade the Mississauga mayor. Kyle's stunts quickly caught the attention of mainstream media, with Kyle getting interviewed by Canadian news channels. Next up, we got Jesse Sebastiani, who was born on June 27th, 1993, in good old Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Now, unlike Kyle, Jesse, he loves the old throwback photo, and he's posted a bunch. There's this. I also found a picture of his mom. Now, his dad, MTV Pat, well, that guy needs little introduction. I think you already know him.
I normally don't smoke darts in the house, but when I do, they use my full-size ashtray.
His dad is a beaut. He actually needs his own before they're famous. Hit that like button if you want to see that. Now, at the age of 2, his parents divorced, and then he moved to small town Shelburne, Ontario. Population just 8,000 people. Now, Jesse has a fraternal twin brother named Jacob, who is a snowboard instructor out in BC. He also has an older sister, Sarah, who works on cruise ships traveling the world. Now, in Shelburne, Jesse, he grew up on a farm, and being in a small town, well, it offered him all the freedom he could ever imagine. He grew up ripping dirt bikes, skateboarding, snowboarding, and getting into trouble. He first got into filmmaking videos with his buddies when he was only 12 years old, and he jump-started his own YouTube channel way back in 2012.
Hello. I am not in focus. Not one bit. Nope. Checking the water. Alright.
Jesse's old man Pat, he worked at the steel company Dofasco in Hamilton, and his mom Robin, she was between jobs throughout most of Jesse's youth. Now, him and his siblings, they didn't have much, so he was always looking for ways to make a few bucks. Now, his first job ever, it was working at a hay farm. He then worked at a scrapyard and later at a grocery store.
So I'm working the late shift at No Frills. I was 15, I was just bored as shit, want to hang out with my friends.
He worked a ton of different jobs, including out in Alberta in the oil fields and in restaurants as a bartender. Now, he was always a pretty entrepreneurial type of dude. He set up his own clothing line at the age of just 12. It was known as Dallas. Now, young Jesse, he had a few idols growing up, including Eric Costin, Grant Patterson, and Ryan Sheckler. You know, all pro skateboarders. Now, on the artsy side, Jesse, he's a longtime fan of Spike Jonze and the boys at Jackass. Now, he didn't care too much for school. He liked art class and the social aspect, but he almost flunked out of high school. He did make it to prom though, and he had a nice little filly on his arm. Now, Jesse never opted to go to university or college, but instead focused more on making videos with his friends Dalton and Aiden, and soon enough the boys, they landed a deal with MTV Canada.
And we got a season called Careless Teens on MTV. So I don't know if you guys have seen it. It was like that show that they just overly played, and like they still play it, I think, on Thursday nights. Yeah, that's my MTV show.
Now, the first time I did Jesse's bio, I didn't find this travel doc that he had starred in and also produced. It's titled Saved by the Status. The description reads, "Confused, broke, no vehicle, no career, no life. This is when the idea to use social media as a handle to travel across all of Canada east to west." Now, I think he entered this into some indie contest. He also had a GoFundMe set up for its release, but good for him. The kid was really hustling. Kyle and Jesse first met in 2014 after a fan introduced them, and they made plans to film a prank video together for the Nelk channel, which at the time boasted 25,000 subscribers. The first video that they filmed together was titled Lit Me on Fire Prank. Still not making much money, the boys, they pressed forward. Now, eventually, the twins, they would stop appearing on the show, and the existing team, well, they would post a video about them not pulling their weight. Now, if you ask me, they probably realized that them dudes, they look too much like the Property Brothers, and it wasn't a good look. Now, maybe we get them to come in here and do a Where Are They Now on them. Who wants that? Let me know. Now, soon 905 Shooter, he was added to the mix initially as a photographer, but he would become more frequent of a personality on the channel. Then, just as things were ramping up, well, Lucas, he decided to drop out to pursue more practical work in the trades. Previous to this, the crew, they took a trip to LA for 4 months, which changed everything for them. They went viral with their 7 ways to compliment boobs video.
These are sick.
Check it out.
Are these real?
Yeah, Indonesia.
Their next banger would be their Coke prank on cops video, which today boasts over 34 million views. Now, while in LA, they even got invited to one of P. Diddy's kids' birthday bashes, and there they were rubbing shoulders with the likes of Justin Bieber, Travis Scott, Kendall Jenner, Khloe Kardashian, A$AP Rocky, and more. Now, in 2017, the channel, it climbed from a couple million views a month to a whopping 20 million views per month. It also surpassed the 1 million subscriber mark, and the boys, well, they were getting hounded in Canada, and they were having a hard time pulling off the pranks that the rabid fan base were expecting them to post. They basically had nowhere to film.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to we literally can't film in Ontario. Maybe every I think Canada is just we're too popular. Canadian fans just rep us so hard. Everyone knows us in Ontario now, so it's fucking ridiculous.
So when the boys could afford it, they would pack up all their gear and hit the road. And that led us to the introduction of the newest member. We gotta talk about SteveWillDoIt. Now it's hard to track Steve's come up story because a lot of his earlier posts, they've since been deleted. It turns out he was underage when he first started going viral with his drinking videos. He was also charged with possession of marijuana and driving with a suspended license around 2017. But he always liked to enjoy the good meal on camera. From what I can see, that's who he was. SteveWillDoIt was born Stephen DeLeonardis. He was born on August 26, 1998 in small town Oviedo, Florida, not far from Orlando. Now it appears he has a brother named Max. I don't know if they're brothers, they got a similar nose. Now the healthiest man in the world, he used to be a professional bodybuilder and he would get super jacked and tanned and then go on stage for competitions. Now the story goes, correct me if I'm wrong, well Kyle, he saw some of his eating and drinking videos on Instagram, so he hit up Steve in the DMs. Back then, Steve, he wasn't a big deal, but well Kyle, he saw the potential.
You want a beer? Yeah. Cheers, buddy.
From there, the boys met up and they got to work. By 2018, he was joining the boys on camera full time. In recent years, the Nelk boys, they've gone global, traveling the world, visiting the countries that will allow them entry. Now they've made the move to LA and they're killing it in the world of merch. They've also managed to not catch the coronavirus, even though they've pounded back enough Ronas to kill the average man. Now, if you haven't watched our Where Are They Now video on 905 Shooter, well, we suggest you do that. We will leave a link down below or around me right now. But as for the rest of the story, I'm gonna wrap this one up here. Of course, this is before they're famous. My name is Mike McCrudden. We make all sorts of celebrity bios here for you on this channel. We do a lot of YouTubers, we do a lot of rappers, we do a lot of models, we do a lot of everything. So let us know who's next in the comments down below. If you're new, subscribe. I'll see you guys in another video. Boom! Gotta lay off the Ronas myself.